Come together right now with the Toastmasters District 71. I won't sing anymore, I promise. My name is Jessica, and I'm going to be working with you about your personal boundaries. Shall we begin? I'm going to give you 2 tips, a little bit of insight. There might be some role playing. This might become Jose heard, because I'm not with you today or whenever you're watching this, and I would love to be with you. How many of you, by show of hands, I can't see you. How many of you, sometimes with some people, Uncle Bob, don't have the courage, don't feel like you have the voice to speak up and get what you need? Oh, I knew it. See, because I knew you're humans, the Toastmasters. You want to be nice. That's coming from a fellow nice person, Canadian, my brothers and my sisters. We want to be nice. We want to please. We don't want to be socially isolated, because if you get socially isolated, if you demand too much, if you're too needy, if you put too many boundaries, people go, ugh, and they exclude you. And if you do that to enough people, you'll end up alone. Okay, so we're talking about reasonable needs, expressing what you deserve, and not taking too much, but not taking too little. Okay, then you'll be fine. There are people that accept you, and there are people that reject you. Good thing there are 8 billion of us. Haven't met them all, but I bet they like you. An excellent way to get your ideas heard is by speaking. But you can't speak if people don't give you the space to speak, because how can you interrupt me when I'm talking so fast and I don't care what you have to say because you're not so important to me, I'm more important to myself, but you need to stop me. How are you going to stop me? There is a word, actually 2 words. One is a verb, one is a preposition. For all you grammar geeks out there, it is called speaking of. Speaking of is the way in English that we interrupt people. If someone is talking at bullet speed, you say, speaking of, and you find one word that they said that you can enter in on a tangent. And then you do a monologue, or not. You jump in there. Blah, 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 blah. Not aching of. Speaking of, blah, blah, blah. I noticed this. When I was in Europe, this happened. Have you noticed this? Blah, 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 blah. Speaking of, you pop in. It's extremely polite. It's almost even charismatic, and it makes you interesting. If you have a hard time breaking in, interrupting, getting your ideas heard by the loud extroverts, what? Only 93% extroverted. This is a fantastic tool. I encourage you to use it next time you're with someone who talks too much. Could that be a Toastmaster? Possibly. No. You might have to put down some boundaries with people that don't give you the space or the time to be heard. If you have an idea, type a yes in the chat box. If you have an idea that with someone that you're not expressing because you're afraid, you are afraid of losing something. Once again, you're human. If you need that job, putting down boundaries will possibly kill you because you won't have food. Putting down your boundaries with someone that feeds you, takes care of you, is importantissimo for your survival, is dangerous. And that takes me to point number 1. Point number uno. How did the Irish say one? One. Forgive me. We put down boundaries when we feel safe. If you don't feel safe with Uncle Bob, I don't have an uncle named Bob. Does anyone? Type a yes in the chat box that I won't see. You will not say anything that puts you in danger. When you were a kid, Ye tall, yay tall. I'm trying to create rapport with you, but I'm just a Canadian. Forgive me. When you were young, there are 4 emotions that you felt in your body. Can you name them? They're very popular. 8 billion humans have them all day, every day, on different levels, depending on how they're feeling. 4 primary emotions. Not constipated. Angry. 4 primary emotions. If your parents were not able to manage their own happiness, sadness, fear, and anger, they were not able to manage yours. Thus, when you showed one of these, they went, don't do that, stop, don't open that can of worms. And you stopped expressing it. And instead of expressing the one you were feeling, you possibly express, it's really hard to keep this finger up without the other ones. You possibly express this one instead. Congruency in expressing emotions is the way that you get your needs heard. If you are angry, the face, the emotions, the tension in the body should be congruent. Closed eyes, tight cheeks, closed nose, not breathing deeply, tightened, tightened, down there, tightened. Nobody confuses that face with happiness. But what happens when we try and express our needs to someone that's not open to it? They don't care. Let's do an example. Mom, I'm sad because the kids are making fun of me and I don't feel like I have any friends. Oh dear, don't be silly. You don't feel that way. It's just because you're new to the school. You're fine. You're not different. Okay, I'm not sad. I'm fine. Do this for 20 years. You don't even know how to express the sadness anymore. You've been desensitized to your own emotions. And thus, when you are feeling a certain emotion, let's say sad, okay, or angry, it's very likely that you switch them. You express the one that was socially acceptable. Often, my clients, I'm a therapist in Gestalt Psychotherapy, trained at the AETG in Barcelona in Spanish, but all my clients are English. So I understand your English problem, at least your grammar, not your cultural problem. You felt this, but you showed this. You felt this, but you showed this. You have an incongruency in emotions. It's difficult for you to get heard, tell people what you need because you don't want to cause abandonment and social isolation. If you did something that your parents were not comfortable with, your little brain went, maybe they will abandon me and put me in an orphanage or take away my food. You don't put up boundaries because you want to survive. Please have empathy with yourself. You're very nice, possibly a people pleaser. You have a hard time saying no. You're a yes person, but not in the positive way. And you do a lot of stuff that you don't want to do because you don't want to be called selfish. And you, the rule of 3, I know, I'm sorry, but the rule of 3 has to be the rule of 4. You sometimes lie. One game that you can play so that you don't lie. I know you don't want to lie, but it's easier to lie than to confront because confronting threatens your safety. And the most important thing that you, I, and Uncle Bobby Bob think about is survival. Food, water, not being lynched by the mob. And if your parents were tough on you and didn't let you express your needs, your hunger, your thirst, your sadness, your fear, and they said, be quiet, I can't manage that, you stopped expressing that. And when you need to express that, you don't. And here you have a boss, Jose. Jose is kind of a party pooper, pushing you, not letting you have what you need, not listening to you, not letting you express your ideas, not giving you the space, not respecting your time. God, Jose is horrible. And what you need to do is stand up. But you haven't practiced it for 20 years because your parents taught you to survive, you need to not express them. Now, to survive, to get a promotion, to be happy, to feel strong, that you trust yourself, to minimize that self-doubt, to get your ideas heard, you need to stand up and face the fight, possibly. Two people getting their needs met requires emotional intelligence. If you're emotionally intelligent, you can have a conversation about each other's needs. And for that, I recommend nonviolent communication. Communication is about expressing how you feel and your needs and requesting Jose what you need him to do so that you feel safe and you can contribute and feel good at work and not quit. If Jose says no, well, then you either accept that he does not want to change, you leave and you say, too bad, I need these and that means, or you go back to position survival as a child. Which one are you in that difficult relationship with that person that we mentioned a little while back? Show it with your hands. Oh, no, I'm not standing up for what I need at all. Man, I say yes all the time when I don't want to. God, why do I always have to do all the hard work? Oh, I wish they would stop talking. Okay. As you stand up for your needs, this person is going to be like, what? You're getting taller? Kawow. Kawowie. Kawooey. And you're going to either shrink back down to where you feel safe, or you're going to rise to the challenge and meet them. They don't want you to express your boundaries because that means they can't take advantage of you. They're happy when they take advantage of you. That's a happy face. Thus, you might lose your work, you might lose your partner, you might lose something that's very important to you. But what will you gain? If you're still with me, it's because you have nothing else to do, obviously. God, isn't it sunny? Oh no, probably raining. If you're still with me, there's some truth in what I'm saying. I've seen it in hundreds of cases and read about it and studied it and seen it in my own life. Be sweet to yourself and understand that your boundaries are not here because it was survival, but you are no longer that little kid with parents taking care of you. You now can stand up, express yourself, face Jose, and if Jose says, I don't care, then you have a choice to make. You accept his reality and you choose to stay, to flee, to fight with amazing conversational skills, conflict management skills, and emotional intelligence, or to freeze, to go back to what you know and do very well. Jose wins, you feel like crap. Are you ready to change that? Can you imagine the worst thing that someone can call you? Ugly. Selfish. Getting worse. And the worst, dun, 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 needy. I need to be listened to. I need for you to hear me. Oh, how disgusting, right? We've been taught as women to not need anything. And then when we need stuff, men feel wanted and feel good because they can provide to us. It's so confusing. You are allowed to have your needs. You have sexual needs, you have psychological needs, you have emotional needs, you have leisure needs, you have spiritual needs, you have bodily function needs, you have food, you have dietary needs, you have a lot of needs. You are a needy human. So if you can express your reasonable needs, the other person has the right to say, no, I will not accommodate, collaborate, or help you. And then you know this person is Uncle Bob and you get the hell away from him. If that person goes, oh, you have a need? I also have a need. What's your need? I want to eat Chinese. Well, my need is I'm allergic to MSG. Well, what's your need? I need to eat. Me too. What is food that doesn't have MSG? Restate the goal to find out how you can both get your needs met. That's a simple example because I'm hungry, but think about that in bigger terms. I need. What do you need? Once you both figure out what you need, you chunk down to maybe more specific, or you chunk up. What category does that fit in? I need food. I need to be heard. I need to feel safe. Well, I also need that, and I need that. Well, how about 10 minutes for you? Listen to me, 10 minutes for me, because we can't afford a therapist. I'm a therapist and I use humor because I believe we're taking ourselves too seriously. Go up there, imagine life as a table topic. Go out there, express who you are. This is a break dance, an icebreaker. Every day is an icebreaker. You're introducing yourself, you have new ideas. Go out there, say what you need, express your ideas, be you, and if you're reasonable, authentic, and halfway kind of normal, you will meet people that are the same, and you'll have a jolly old time. But if you meet people who don't listen, who only care about themselves, who haven't dealt with their emotional baggage, they cannot deal with your needs. You don't have emotional damages, or maybe you do, but it doesn't matter. They cannot deal with their own, thus they can't deal with yours. And these people might love you. This might be your mother. Most of us have problems with boundaries because of our mother or our father. They tried their best, but the best wasn't good enough. And now you need to learn it by yourself. I would love to help you. If you have any questions after this little webinar, come to Barcelona. It's sunny. It's lovely. I've been here for 8 years. About 5 years ago, 4 years ago, I finished my Gestalt. It's a psychotherapy based on accepting the reality and then choosing. We practice the LAB. Listen. Oh, I heard it. I don't want to like it. It doesn't feel good. Accept it. Oh, I don't want to accept it. I'd rather not see it, hear it, or smell it. And then you build. You learn those skills, emotional intelligence, nonviolent communication, boundaries, saying what you need, walking away, fighting, flighting. You learn what you need to step up your boundaries to get what you want. And then when you have less self-doubt, you believe in yourself, you trust what your body is telling you, you can face those Jose and those Uncle Bobs of the world. Yeah? You just need to grow. Grow together right now with me. My name is Jessica Breitenfeld. I've been a Toastmaster since I've been 16, a few years ago. I wish I could be with you guys. Thanks for watching. Hopefully these 2 tips have helped you. Speaking of, and being needy. Go be needy. I'll go have lunch. You go be needy. We'll talk later. That's a modern phone. Thanks for being with me. Bye-bye.